Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Maria from Under the Night Moon, and I am so excited to bring you the second art kit from for my Etsy shop that I've made for you. I did receive many requests for a Blessed Mother tag, and so this is what I've come up with for you. It's so beautiful. This tag would be a perfect gift for anyone who loves the Blessed Mother, or someone who needs a get well, a quick pick-me-up. What a beautiful gift. Or just something for you to keep on hand. Maybe you need a new bookmark. My sister hangs these from her lampshade, from her, ceiling fan poles. I always love to just pair one of these with a really pretty candle for a quick gift. But anyway, they're super fun to make, and I'm really enjoying making these kits for you, going through my supplies, my studio, and finding things for you so that you can create something. Of course, the best artist in the world, Debrina from over at the Pixie Dust Files, created the most beautiful bag topper for us. It's absolutely gorgeous. She is the most gracious, giving, lovely woman. I just adore her. And she said, "Oh, Maria, I will help you with your bag topper, because my skills are so poor," and look what she made. I am in love with it. And just Debrina, if you're watching, so many thank yous. I just adore you. Okay, so let's get started. This one is similar. It's a little workshop today on layering, of course. And I think you're really gonna have fun. All the things that you need to create this beautiful tag are right here in these bags. And I have a set number of them made, little over 10. And so I've got those all ready to go. They're ready to ship and everything. So if you watched the first one that I did, I do recommend, so when you open the bag, you're going to receive a little bag full of the finishing touches. That's this little bag in the back. Let me get a better picture. This one here, it's got all the little finishing touches, little bits and things. And then you're going to receive, and I'll just show you here, a beautiful antique doily or vintage doily. And you can use this, well, you could wrap the candle in it if you're going to use these as a gift. You can cut them apart and use them in your collage work, your art journaling, Bible journaling. It's so beautiful. I'm always on the lookout for the old ones because the details are so gorgeous. Of course, this one is a rose and it's the perfect color. And so inside the beautiful doily are your textiles. And you're going to receive the layering pieces that go on the bottom first. And so you've got this gorgeous piece of embroidered eyelet. And then you've got your layering laces. These are all from my mom's doll studio. So I'm really happy to be able to share these with you. She would be absolutely thrilled to know that I am using these. Yes, both my parents, because they both did the dolls. And then you're going to get this gorgeous piece of star tulle. You're going to receive the tag that I've already inked for you very lightly, just to kind of match our vintage aesthetic. And then the back of your tag I always like to cover so that you can write. Plus sometimes, if anything happens to the back, you've got a nice clean surface, a little dot of glue or something. So you've got a nice clean surface to write your story. Sign your name, handmade by so-and-so. How fun. So this is the last thing we do. And I always encourage, if you are going to write a message, write it before you glue it. But we'll go over that once we get started. Okay, so there are your textiles inside the doily. And then you're going to open your little bag of the finishing touches, right? You can see in there you've got the the flower, the little bits of gold and pearls, the beautiful fibers, which I've been really enjoying making my own fiber selections. And these have 6 different fibers in there, which is really fun. And of course I chose white for the ethereal look. Yeah. Okay, so you're going to open your little bag of finishing touches, and I always recommend you just put them in a small bowl. Oh, and of course the beautiful image of Mother Mary. Okay, so all the little things go in the bowl. That way they don't go anywhere, and they are just right at the ready for you. I want to keep this out because I just love it so much. Maybe I'll just tip it up. Can you all see it? No. Anyway, yes, so let's get started. Now, for starters, you're going to need glue and scissors. That's really all you need for this project, are glue and scissors, but I do recommend a good pair of scissors that will cut fabric, because we are going to have to trim a little here. And then glue, I have 2 that I like to always use, the Fabri-Tac and then hot glue. And if you don't love hot glue, then the Fabri-Tac will work just fine, but you need to just add a little extra drying time. And I will show you that as we go along. Okay, so we're going to put everything to the side. We're going to get our tag, and then I'm going to have to remove the white here because I do like to work on the grid surface here. So yeah, I probably should have done that before I started, but I know you guys will forgive me, hopefully. Okay, now the reason I like the grid here is so that we can line everything up. And that's real important in terms of making tags, because sometimes in my work, the shabby can get a little hard, especially when you've got tattered things that have been, well, I don't really have anything here that's been torn, but sometimes in my work, you know, I'll tear fabrics and stuff, but I still want to make sure everything's straight, not sloppy. So I'm going to line up the tag. And 2, like sometimes my stamping will be, you know, not perfect, which is fine. I love that look. But we do want to make sure that it is straight. And you can just simply, if you don't have a grid surface, you can just put a ruler. Of course, oh yeah, look, I have one right here. You can just keep a ruler, line it up to something, a square edge, and then you can just, meaning, you know, your table, and then you can just kind of keep it straight that way. Of course, a clear ruler, you'd have to be able to put something under so you could see. Okay, so we are going to start with our beautiful textile here, this gorgeous embroidered eyelet. It's got bows, the scallop here on the bottom. I'm a huge fan of anything scallop. And before we glue anything at all, we are going to play around with where we want this to be. Now on the tag, I did it so that the 2 full scallops are in the center and you've got the edges on the side. So I think that's important in terms of balance. So you don't want to have, you know, a cut piece in the center. So we're going to balance these 2 scallops directly underneath this hole here, the reinforcer. And that way you've got a general idea of the balance. Of course, always make sure that your embroidery stitching is on the right side up. That is something I have to do all the time. I always double check. And the best way to double check is flip it over, so you can see both sides and you can tell right away which is the right side. Okay, now once you know where this is going and you're pretty happy with the way it looks, I like these to come right to the edge, you know, right to the edge. And I'm going to hold this down. I'm going to pull this back. Now it's okay if it moves a little because you're holding it where you want it. Now you're going to take your glue, it doesn't matter which, and we're just going to do a line through the middle. We're not going to go on the edges. We're not putting glue all over the lace. We're just going to put a, let's just do a thin rectangle right here in the center. and that's just going to hold it in place for us. And then as we get creating, we will make sure everything is glued down. But for now, we're just going to get this down so that it doesn't move around on us. And you can see, now I cut a larger piece. You guys probably won't have this much to cut, but this is sort of why you need a good pair of scissors to cut the fabric. So try them out if you have scissors in your house. You know, make sure they cut a scrap piece of fabric before you start. Okay, so that's our first piece. And then we're building up to the Beautiful Mary image. So the next one we're going to do is this top piece, because the top piece is going to cover this kind of edge here, which sometimes I don't mind, but I wanted to bring the beautiful lace up and around behind the image just to make it look that much even more pretty. This is some really gorgeous lace from my mom's studio. I don't know where, it might be Irish. It's really beautiful. And so you're just going to take your piece and you're going to line it up with the top of the tag part, meaning that's what you're going to do your centering from. And it's going to come down over this. That's fine. That's how we're going to do our layering. And I do want the stamp to show. A little French stamp under there. So I'm going to put that just like that. And if it moves, it's okay. This part is not that crucial. Really, we're just building up a layer. Again, we're going to hold it down. We're going to just do a little something in the center there. Making sure I got it going the right way. And I did not, so it was good that I checked. Always double check. You can always apply more glue. So yeah, there we go. Just a light tap. If you are working with hot glue for the first time and you don't like the burns, they do have these little silicone gluer things. I don't know what these are called, but they work really well, especially for lace. That's from, I think, the Dollar Spot at Target. So if you see those, definitely grab them. Okay, and then for our pretty lace, again, this is from my parents' doll studio. If you're new to my channel, they were the creators of the Francesca Doll Company back in the 80s. And what's fun is I Googled on Etsy Francesca dolls and I saw a bunch of my mom's dolls come up, which is really kind of fun to see them. Okay, so this one's a little bit easier to tell which side is up because we've got this beautiful pink. And what I did with the pink is sometimes I like to run a ribbon or a stripe underneath an image to kind of bring it out more. And originally I had this pink up higher. But again, when I went to do the gold, I just really wanted the image to be the focal point. So I moved the pink down. But do you see how we have that just ever so gentle slight of pink showing? So it's kind of hard to cover up all the pink, but at the same time, it gives just a very delicate, subtle, little subtle pop of color, which I really love in my work. So we're going to put this, now you can put it wherever. We are going to cover up the bows, which is okay because whoever gets this tag is going to see all the layering. And I'm okay with that. Sometimes it's a little painful to cover up beautiful laces and things, but to get this layered look, I think it's okay. It's okay, and we still have all this beautifulness here. Okay, so before we glue this down, we're going to get our image because that's going to be the next thing we glue on, and we're just going to sort of place it on there and make sure that we like the way it looks. Also too, when I'm making these, I don't want to make them too difficult to where you get frustrated. If you want a more difficult layered tag, let me know in the comments and we will you know, up it a few notches. But you know, I want to make sure that everybody is having fun, not getting frustrated or glue everywhere or burning your hands or confused. You know, I just want you to make something really that you love. Oh, and by the way, I did go ahead and put the gold edges on for all of you in all the kits. All of the images have the gold, but I highly recommend that you go to Hobby Lobby. That's where I bought this. I get asked all the time what gold paint I use, and it's this one right here. Extreme Sheen Deco Art in 24 karat gold. It's absolutely gorgeous. I have a couple different versions. All of the golds are gorgeous, I promise you. And then I also use Extreme Glitter, and this is just in gold. And so you can actually put even more. And for today, I'm going to put this on so you can see the difference that it makes. But I didn't put it on all of them because I'm just not sure. Plus, I kind of want you to have a little fun with the paints. But if that's something that you want me to do, of course, in the next one, I will glitter them all. But you know, some people are funny about glitter, and I just want to make sure that everyone loves what they're making. Okay, so same thing, we're going to hold the pink one down, and remember we lined it up so that we like where the pink is doing just what we needed, a little pop of color. We're going to lift it back, making sure we hold it down, and then I'm going to put the glue on the pink instead of like on here because there's holes, and sometimes the glue will come through those holes and be sloppy, and I don't like sloppy. I don't mind shabby, I don't mind tattered, but I don't love sloppy. Okay, so we have that. Double checking our image is so pretty. Now we're going to do a little trimming because basically this tag is almost finished. Yes, and so what you can do is turn it over and follow the lines. Other times, you know what, actually no, I think we're going to glue everything down and then we will trim. And I'm saying that just because I'm much more used to cutting than you, so if we glue it down, then you know nothing's going to move. Okay, so to glue everything, now what we're going to do is get our glue. We're going to follow where the lace starts and a very thin line. You don't want a ton of glue. Again, we can always go back and glue more. And you're just going to run this all the way down the edge of the tag, filling in a few spots. Hopefully you can see how much glue I'm using. Maybe I'll do this side. So again, so hopefully, let me pull the camera so you can see. My sister watched the whole video and she said, Maria, I would have gotten glue everywhere. If you didn't show me, I would have gotten glue. My sister, one of my sisters here, she's really like academic and she doesn't do art at all. And I loved her feedback. So let me just show you just a little bit of glue. Just a little bit of glue. And glue is fun, like I get it, you know, it's fun. But it's a real quick way of making things look super messy. So we're just kind of very, very gently with the glue. And it doesn't matter which one you're using, Fabri-Tac or hot glue. And so while we're doing that, we may as well glue these pieces down. You're going to lift up. And again, we're just going to try to hit the spots where the lace is real dense. We don't want to put glue where there's thin areas, and we're just putting little dots, just ever so gently touching. And then I will use the Fabri-Tac for this side in case those of you are using the Fabri-Tac. I'll show you, it's just the same thing. We're just gonna, make sure it's gonna come out. There we go. The same thing, we're just gonna run a little tiny dot of glue. And that's that. Lightly press it down. Both of these glues dry clear, so you don't have to worry. This Fabri-Tac gets stuck on my hands a lot, which I don't love, but it's a very good glue. Okay, this one here, we're gonna fold the top back and we're gonna just run glue along the top edge. kind of following that little scallop pattern. And the same thing under here. Just gonna hit the darker parts of the lace, like so. And again, we can always go back. Of course, we will double check before we're finished to make sure we've got enough glue everywhere. Just gonna give it a light tap. Don't want to press too hard. Okay. Now we can trim. I think it's easier to trim once it's all glued down if you don't, you know, if you don't do this a lot. Okay, so now we're gonna flip it over. We're gonna make sure that we see our edges here. And sometimes it's okay if a little bit comes off on the bottom, kind of like a little dress. You know, it doesn't have to be exact. Okay, this is a handmade item, and I think it needs to be neat, but it doesn't have to be exact to the point where you're cutting the card, or, you know, worse, you're gonna get, you know, nicks and stuff in there. So you want to kind of do less is more in this situation until you get it where you like it. And so I recommend that you just start cutting a little bit away from the edge. You might like a little extra of the edge hanging off. Turn it around. Take your time. One, you know, wrong move with scissors can ruin a whole project, so it's always good. Just take your time. Make sure when you start this project you have lots of time, maybe a little coffee, you know, that sort of thing. So you can see I even left about an eighth of an inch. I'm not quite sure how much leftover you will have in your packages. I do have one that's not open. Let's see. This one just needs an image. I think I cut them all more. Yeah, I left them pretty close for you so that you wouldn't have to worry about cutting off too much. Okay, so that's good. That's better for you, it's easier. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna turn this back over, and I can tell already, you can probably see it, that there's a little spot here. So when you go to do the rest of the trimming, do it face up. That way you can see the actual tag, like so. And that looks fine to me. I'm not gonna overthink it, overdo it. Once it looks good, then you move on to the next. Ask me how I know. Okay, now the finishing touches. This is so exciting. This is where we get to use all of the finishing touches. So you're going to open that up, like I said. You're going to put everything in your little dish. You've got your Mary. You've got your ribbon to make a bow, and the fun thing is I'm going to show you how to do a bow, and I'm also going to show you how to do the fishtail on the bow, which I do love to do. I love double bows, so you've got this beautiful like robin's egg blue, and then this really pretty white satin. We've got our fibers for the tag when we're finished, our beautiful rose, and these are shabby roses. And what I mean by that is they're just handmade mulberry paper, so they're very sturdy. You can play around with the petals and things if you like. I kind of like them all shabby, like so. And then what else do we have? We have, so I did some embossing. I thought it would be really fun, and I'll just show you. These are Anna Griffin borders, and I did the matte gold paper. I just thought it would be really fun to give this tag a little something something. Like we did the fabric in the last one. I thought a little bit of embossing for this Mary image, and I'll just show you. It looks so beautiful. I just love it. So we did that, and then some pearls, right? Oh, and then one little, oh wait, I'm forgetting her crown. Everybody gets a crown. And this is, you know, you can put this on or not. I love the extra sparkle. And then we also have one of my favorite little sparkly bits, a little tiny, just to accentuate the crown right there. Okay, so we've got all that in our little bowl and our beautiful piece of star tool. I love using the star, hopefully you can see it, because when Mary was assumed into heaven, God granted her 12 real stars for a halo, and I just think that is so beautiful. Wouldn't that be so cool to have a real star above your head? Yeah. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is attach the gold right here. And so what I have done, and I'm going to show you here, is the same that we did with the scallop trim on the bottom. We're going to just attach it, and then this one I cut on a slant just to give it a little flare at the bottom. I'm going to show you how to do that. So in the center you've got 3 of the dots, and then the 2 on the side. So the 3 dots go right below the roses, and that's just a way to balance things out. So we're going to take our gold, we're going to find the 3 dots, and we're going to just glue them. Well, we're going to glue Mary on top of the 3 dots right where the roses are. And you can't mess this up. This gold embossing is so pretty. If it's not perfectly centered, do not worry, it's so gorgeous. However it comes out, it's going to be gorgeous. So we're going to take a little bit of glue. I'm going to use the Fabri-Tac because I'm going to be talking, and the hot glue will dry too quickly, and I want to make sure that you guys adhere this. I just don't want the hot glue to dry. So now we're going to take the 3 dots, and we're going to put Mary in the line up the roses like so. And then I'm just going to give it a little press on the back. If it were the hot glue, it'd already be dry by now. Then what we're going to do is take our scissors, and we're just going to cut on an angle. You see an angle on each side to just kind of give it a little beautiful, I don't know if the camera's showing, to just give it a beautiful little edge. I just think that's so delicate and so pretty. Now you can turn it over, which might be easier. Don't stress or fuss, because even if that's not perfect, the bows are going to kind of cover the edges. Really what you're just creating is a little something beautiful underneath the gorgeous bows. Isn't that just so pretty? I love that. Okay, then we're going to attach the crown piece. Now you can see this image already has a crown, and you can put this on top, you can put it behind, you can not put it at all. It's totally up to you. You can leave her just like this, and it's still absolutely stunning. But I really wanted to accent the her crown. And so what we're going to do is the same thing. We're going to put a little bit of glue right behind here. I think I'll use hot glue for this. Little tiny dab. And then you're just going to line this up where her crown is, like so. And you can center your circle if you need to. It's really pretty, that one's pretty easy. Like so. So pretty. I just love. Okay, now we're ready to attach this to our tag. So fun. So let's go ahead and cover the back. I don't put a ton of glue under my images. I just really want enough so that it adheres, you know, without buckling. If I put too much glue behind the image, this is going to be all, you know, bumpy and stuff. So it's really important that you get the edges, and then I just do a very light squiggle in the center. If you're using the Fabri-Tac, again, just a thicker edge of it along here, and then just like you can press down on the nozzle for a thinner amount of glue, because we are going to press it into the lace. We don't want glue coming out the sides, and we don't want glue, you know, making our front piece buckle. So just have like a light hand, I think, is probably the best way to do it. We're just going to go all the way around the image. We're going to make sure we get the gold, and then just a squiggle in the center. And I would say, I think that's about 1/8 of an inch high of the glue. Is that a good way to? And then just a little squiggle. I'm going to grab the corners, do not get burnt, and center it right underneath. And this is where our grid comes in. Make sure you have it centered. Once you like it, center it first before you press. Then you're going to press it down. Both glues will give you enough time to do all of those things. It's not going to dry. 1/4 or 1/8 of an inch of hot glue, you've got time. It's not going to dry. In the Fabri-Tac, you have even more time. And then just a light press in the center. No need for the center to be completely glued, because your edges are where most of the glue is. And that's so pretty. I love making Mary tags, especially for May. May is the month for Mary, and I just couldn't be more happy to have brought a Mary kit to my shop in the month of May. So yeah. Okay, I need more glue in here. So now what we're gonna do is the crown, and this has got like a fabric backing. Again, you don't need a lot of glue. All I'm gonna do is just run a little bit of glue right along the bottom here. Just a couple of little dots. Place it up and over. Again, I'm not going to press it until I center it. Make sure, center my tag, make sure, and once I like it, I'll give it a little press. These moments where we stop before we press are kind of important. Now you can always pull this back if, you know, it got on there a little crooked. You can gently pull it off, you know, within a few seconds, because glue is very forgiving in the first like 10 seconds or so, and then the longer it sits, obviously the harder it gets. But if you just take a minute before you press it to look and make sure everything is centered, your projects will come out a lot, it'll be a lot smoother for you, and that just comes with practice. But if you could just remember before you press, stop and have a look, it'll save you a little bit. Okay, now we are going to build our bows, and I do like to go from largest to smallest when I do like many bows all at once. So we're going to start with the blue one. Again, you want to make sure that your satin side is facing up. Sometimes I have double-sided satin. This one is not. So there's a matte side and a shiny side. And so what we're going to do is hold the ribbon like so with our thumb onto the shiny side. I'm going to put my thumb about where I think, you know, I have enough of a tail for the edge here. So let's see, I think that's 2 inches, about 2 inches. And then you're going to turn it, you're going to squeeze right there, you're going to squeeze it, you're going to do your loop, bring it around, squeezing, right? You really want to hold on to that tight, and then you're going to take your pointer finger and push through. Now you're not going to pull it like crazy, you're just going to pull a little, and this is going to allow you to kind of balance out the ribbons so that you've got it looking where you want. And I gave you all extra so that you can play around, because if you don't like it, you can just press it and give it a little pull. I don't mind if my bows have you know, not wrinkly, but I don't mind if they're, you know, shabby looking. Sometimes I like a perfect bow, but most of the time I will make a bow and then crumple it up in my hand just to give it like a really nice worn look. This one I don't mind if it's a little bit, but because I'm married, we do want it to look really pretty. And so now I'm just straightening out the tail. You can see one side is more than the other, that's fine. What I'm looking for is an even amount of loops on each side that I like, that are gonna fit on here. It can be big, it can be small, but basically I like that. Once I like it, I leave it, I don't mess around with it, you know. Okay, now what we're gonna do is pull the ribbon. You can see it's starting to come undone, which is why I like to do the fishtail for this kind of ribbon. What we're going to do is take it, straighten it, and we're going to fold it in half. You see I'm holding this kind of like, I hate to say cigarette, but it's kind of like how it is. We're going to take this and fold it. Now I'm going to look, now here's the end of my bow, so I want like, you know, maybe a half an inch coming off the bottom here. So once I do that, we're folding it so that we do one cut is going to give us the fishtail, right? And you always want your scissors facing up. You don't want to be going this way. You want them going up. And then we're going to take our scissors and we're going to just do one cut. It's not something that we want to do this. We want one good cut. That is why we want sharp scissors for this project. So we want one good cut. And that's that. If you do this, it's going to be all edgy and wonky looking. And if you have it the wrong way, your ribbon will look like this, which I've done a million times. It happens. If you do it enough times, you'll figure it out. But basically, again, you're just gonna pull this taut, fold it in half, like so. Sometimes I have to go all the way to the bottom, that's okay. And with your scissors, you just want one good cut. So make sure you're holding this nice and tight and snip, like so. And if you have to practice that, I highly recommend practicing. If you've got some scrap ribbon hanging around, definitely practice. Go to the Dollar Tree, get some scrap fabric, and you know, practice. This can be really like aggravating, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. And a lot of it just has to do with squeezing when you're making those loops in the very beginning. So your hands will get used to it after a while. Okay, so we've got our first bow, and you can put the bow wherever you like. I was playing around. I thought at one point, maybe the bow could go up here like a gift